Now I'm going to show you a different way of masking with a layer brush. This is just to do a little bit of problem solving. So the first thing I want to do is go ahead and get rid of this layer mask. And this is useful for you if you're going to be deleting any of your masks. You can just click it and make sure that it has that little dotted line around it. That lets me know it's selected, and I can just drag that and drop just the layer mask into the trash. And then I have preserved my background of my cat. So this alternative method that we're going to use, we're going to actually manipulate the image and merge the two together by manipulating the background image. And because we don't want to damage this background layer, we want to preserve it, and that's usually going to be the case. You'll just go to Layer and hit Duplicate Layer. It's just a really good practice to be in to make a background copy, because you don't want to be working directly onto this, because you want to make sure you can preserve that for later in case you make mistakes. Okay, so I have my background copy, and I'm going to move that on top of the stack. So now my little cat is underneath the sunflowers, and so that I can work with this in the mask, I'm going to adjust the opacity by clicking that little arrow for opacity and dialing it down so that now I can see both images, one on top of the other. And I'll revert that back to regular or full opacity once I've worked with my layer mask. Okay, so you'll see they're very similar techniques, but instead of erasing out or masking the background, I am masking the cat out of the background. And I'll just show you what that means. So with my background copy selected, I'm going to hit the mask button, and then making sure that the mask itself is selected, not the image. So my little dancing lines are going around the white box, and making sure that my black is selected and my brush size is where I want it to be. Okay, then I can start erasing just the object that I want, rather than having to select out the whole background. So it's just a little bit less work. Very similar techniques. I'm just editing the background instead of the object. And I'll adjust the size of that so I can grab it. Okay, and just like before, if I make a mistake and I pull in too much of the backdrop and I want to get rid of that, I can swap out the black with the white and use that white to cover it back up. I'm even going to do that on these little refined edges over here and up here. And then if I click this, it will give me a little option to choose a different color. I'm going to pick gray, because with masks you can only work in gray, black, and white. So I pick this gray, and then it's going to allow me to kind of create this little transparent layer. So I can kind of, if I wanted to play with it, bring in like the background a little bit more. And that's if you want to do something experimental. If you're trying to do it like in a photorealistic way, you can use that gray to sort of give you these edges that have like fine bristly hairs. That's really similar to like the refined edge tool, right? Similar concepts. The gray is for like a transparent or less defined area, for less vibrance. And then the white is to reveal, so that I can pull up these little images. Oops, sorry. And the black is to fix anything. Okay, so now I can turn up the opacity of my background and make sure the background is selected, and I turn up the opacity, and boom, there's my cat. Okay, and I see that I've created quite a few little transparent areas, and I can go in and edit those areas by making sure I select my mask layer, making sure I have this set to black, and then adjusting the size of the brush however I need it, and then just kind of going back in with the black to create that mask. And there you have it.